very silent all of a sudden. So thanks for coming. It's nice to see a fairly wide-ranging group. And we have a group here that's from a wide range of schools. So I guess that's why we've a nice variety here today. So today it's coffee morning, and we have a presentation by Mark Coughlan, who's at Astrophel School of Earth Science, and it's representing the Marine and Seabed Research Group. So the contributors to this are Mark, who's going to do all the talking, but Associate Professor Jennifer Keenahan, School of Civil Engineering, Shauna Creane, also School of Civil Engineering and a UCD Climate Fellow, and James Herterich, Assistant Professor at School of Maths and Statistics, all part of the UCD Marine and Seabed Research Group, a new Earth Institute strategic priority project. So I'll let Mark do all the talking, and I'll just tell you about a few events afterwards. We've got quite a few coming up.
Thanks very much, Sean. So thanks very much for turning up today. And this photo is symbolic of the dawn of a new age in a way. So the dawn of this new research group that we've been very kindly sponsored by the Earth Institute. So we're very excited and keen to present it to you. So it's going to be a fairly light kind of talk, just kind of outlining what we're all about, who's involved, what we're going to be doing over the next while, and just kind of signposting some activities and things for you to get engaged with over the next kind of couple of months to a year. So why do we need a group like this? Well, I suppose the marine environment and the seabed is highly dynamic in terms of the interaction between multiple different processes, driving changes on various different timescales. And as society grows and as we kind of look then to the ocean for increasing amounts of resources and energy, kind of understanding the marine environment, the seabed, and what impacts we're potentially having on it becomes even more critical. And this is really underpinned over the last couple of years, I suppose, by the amount of policy and legislation that's coming out of Ireland to kind of support our activities in the marine space. So we had the second draft of the Offshore Renewable Energy Development Plan, which kind of outlines our ambitions around offshore wind for kind of the next 30 odd years. In tandem with that as well, we had the National Marine Planning Framework. So this is a key piece of policy and legislation that will govern how we use the space for multiple different activities and the various different things we have to take into account when we're doing environmental impact assessments. And as well, alongside that, whilst we're also kind of having this drive for offshore wind development and various other types of development, there's a need to protect these areas under marine protected areas. And there's a kind of an ambition to have 30% of our seabed under MPA by 2030. So a lot of activity in this space and a lot of need for kind of science-driven, data-underpinned management strategies that are effective. And this requires then, as a result, a real interdisciplinary collaboration between geoscience, oceanography, engineering, biology, policy, social and environmental science, which is why we thought that it'd be perfect for a setup like the Earth Institute, given the multitude of expertise and people and skills and resources and equipment and everything that's housed within it. So yeah, how we set this up then mainly was kind of around three main topics. So we're kind of we're umbrellaing our work under these in terms of looking at the dynamic seafloor. So this is mainly thinking about the interaction between oceanography and hydrodynamics with the seabed and how that drives contemporary seabed change. The seabed is an archive, so sediments on the seabeds over geological time tell us a really good record with regard to climatic and environmental change, and they offer really good archives for detailing this. And of course, then the seabed is a living ecosystem. So changes in the seabed support a rich diversity in terms of biodiversity and ecosystems and then various services that are associated with that. So these are the kind of three main areas that we're kind of pitching in terms of, if you have an interest in these, come and talk to us. And then this lends itself then to work in areas like paleo-environmental reconstructions and climate modeling, marine energy systems and infrastructure, and habitat mapping and biodiversity monitoring. We also see a really strong role here as well for engaging with some of the social science and environmental humanities work that's also ongoing within the Earth Institute, primarily through the work of Thomas Boutendijk and Tressa Delockery and Pat Brody as part of IENAR, but also then the message group that we recently set up again with Thomas and Fergus and a few more people as well, and that Katrina helped us with. So there's a really nice crossover then between the science that we're doing, and then how we communicate this both to policymakers, but also the general public. So we'd be looking to work quite closely with our colleagues in INR and Message over the next while as well. So who are we then, the people that kind of set it up or are nurturing this project? Well, there's me. So I'm standing here, so I have this perspective of me from a crab's view on the seabed, and I'm a marine geoscientist, as Owen said. So I'm interested in how the seabed changes over different timescales and how we can sustainably use this for climate change and energy transition issues. Jennifer Keenahan, who can't be with us today but might be online, is over in the School of Civil Engineering. She's interested in computational fluid dynamics and how we apply this to various different environments. James Herterich, who's sitting over there, is in the School of Maths. He's an applied mathematician. I'm also interested in oceanographic flows and geophysical processes. And Shauna Creane, who's here as well, who's a marine geoscientist and met ocean engineer in the School of Civil Engineering. So the four of us have kind of come together to set up this group, but there's many more people that we want to get involved, and primarily it's you. So this is probably why you're here today, is to find out a bit more about this and see if this is something that fits with your research or something that you can get involved with and contribute and benefit from. So if you have an interest in any of the topics that I've outlined there in terms of the dynamic seafloor, seabed as an archive, or the seabed as a living ecosystem, then we'll be happy to chat to you and see how we can include you in the activities that we have forthcoming. So the objectives of the group, well, initially is to set up the group within the Earth Institute under these areas and look to expand over time. We really want to highlight the fantastic work that's ongoing in the Earth Institute related to seabed and marine science. And we hope to do this through a dedicated web page. So I learned from Liz this morning that I have to go do training in Terminal 4, which has probably ruined my day to think I have to go learn how to build a website now. But looking forward to it. And as well, part of the work we want to do is kind of identify where the Earth Institute is strong in relation to some of these areas, but also where the research gaps are, or where the opportunities are for us outside of the Earth Institute and outside of UCD through a group strategy paper. And to do this, then we'll be hosting a series of networking and knowledge sharing events and workshops where we'll be hoping to kind of bring people together, discuss ideas, and hopefully foster some collaborations that will lead to some collaborative funding applications. So how are we going to go about this? Well, the first thing we're looking to do is have a bit of a kickoff meeting. So we're all aware that people are kind of swamped with this first semester this year. So we're kind of targeting Q1 of 2025. So early next year, we'll be looking to have this. This will be a bit of a roundtable discussion where we'll be looking to kind of gauge interest in the work that we're doing, define some scope, get feedback, and generally kind of network. So one of the things we're kind of hoping to do with this is to create a database of people who are involved, their areas of expertise and how they can lend themselves to this work, and also get a sense of like what equipment and what facilities, because I know there's a lot of lab facilities in particular that people have that other schools, other researchers within UCD might not be aware of. So kind of sharing that information, that knowledge about what's available and what work we can do together is really important. Like, I mean, only a couple of months ago, I found out people were doing eDNA here, and, you know, it ties in nicely with a lot of the stuff that we're doing around blue carbon. So like those kind of clicks are kind of really important and something that we'll look to do as part of this meeting. A website, as I mentioned, will be setting up soon. So you'll get to see all the activities that are ongoing and progress on it. So that'll be coming soon to a website. This group strategy paper that I mentioned then, so we're looking to hire a research assistant. It'll be a kind of a part-time role or full-time over a shorter period. And they'll be working with the group then to kind of undertake a review of research activities under the thematic areas that I mentioned within the Earth Institute, and summarize some knowledge gaps and research opportunities that we can avail of. And this will incorporate then a review of these opportunities in relation to kind of ongoing national calls and national kind of policy and research priorities, so that we map our research nicely onto what's happening at a kind of a national scale. So on that, if you know of anybody that's potentially looking for a role like this, then don't be afraid to reach out and we can have a chat about it. And then finally, towards the end of the project, then we'll have another kind of meeting, group meeting, where we'll kind of review all the things that we said we do, what worked, what hasn't, and then look to kind of towards steps forward and how we can grow the group, in particular with regards to like collaborative funding applications, the things like SFI Frontiers and other calls like that. So an ideal output from this would be the kind of the group strategy paper, and also like a collaborative research call, in my view, would be like a really good outcome from this. So with that, looking forward to the future and chatting to more of you about all of this. I really want to thank Will and Katrina and Owen for all their help in terms of setting this group up. It's been quite seamless and easy. And of course, to my colleagues, James, Shauna and Jennifer, who were instrumental in doing this. So, and Liz as well for all her help in terms of organizing. So, yeah, that's about it for me. So if anybody has any questions or wants to come to talk to any of us, we'll be more than happy to chat. Thanks very much.